And welcome back, everybody. You finally get just the two of us in one spot. It's the first time in how long now?
Look, let's see. I started the second job 6.5 months ago, so 6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway, and it's no guests, just the two of us, your two favorite people. So,
Are we really though?
apparently, this is what people want. So, here we are.
Fair. I think they like our banter.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of hard for me to. My personalities don't banter very well together. So, yours do, mine don't.
So rude.
Always. Let's see. God, it's been so long since we've done our normal stuff like updates. So I know I said that I was going to get back to doing some of the daily debriefs on audio only. I am. I just need a break. I did a nice long break from it, and we had the interview, and we got this going on, and we got some other interviews coming up. So anyway, I promise we're going to get back on our normal routine here. But here we are.
I also haven't done a Listen Linda in a hot minute, so maybe we'll get back to doing that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find my flow getting back on TikTok after between, the whole heart condition shit and then
she has one, believe it.
Yeah. And the two full-time jobs, it's just it's been a tornado of what the fuck.
Yeah. So you've probably all seen the updates on TikTok that we're going to be at the North Carolina First Responder Mental Wellness Summit. There we go.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Love you, Brad. We are going to be there February 26th through 27th, I believe. I think those are the dates. Yeah, February 26th through 22nd through 27th. You can go backward in time. It'd be a little awkward.
No, we can try.
We're going fast enough. It feels like sometimes we go backwards in time. But anyway, we're going to be there. It's going to be a great time. Mm-hmm. We're still coordinating what a live stream is going to look like because so Brad and I have thrown around a couple of different ideas. We like the idea of having a panel, especially for people that weren't able to make it in as speakers, but still want to have some presence, some face time. Mm-hmm. He wants to organize a panel event. But that's probably going to be done either in tandem with or adjacent to a live stream event. It's not going to be a live stream like, oh, we're going to sit here and, talk with, one person at a time for hours. Like, we're going to move around a little bit. It's going to be a little more dynamic, a little more interesting. So we're still ironing out the details. Got a couple of people have actually popped up. Not as many as I thought. Like, I expected it to be the kind of thing we put our email address out there and God and everybody wants to participate. But we've got some really good people coming that I think y'all are going to love seeing.
We'll see too, because Daniel and I will both, we'll actually be working together to interview these people and talk and, do our normal banter. And I'm sure it's going to be great.
Well, and I don't even know that I want to do it in a formal, structured podcast. Like, those old, like, reality shows, people just, like, go around to the camera and just start randomly talking to people. Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Like something like that.
We're just going to rush you and start talking. It'll be great.
Anyway, we do have some Paramedic AF merch. I'll put the link below for the Bonfire store. Mm-hmm. Brad, the guy who was starting the conference, was actually our first customer. That was kind of fucking cool. We've made all of a whopping like $20, I think, off of the entire thing so far. So
hey, now the whole point is getting our name out there. Being paramedic as fuck.
Yes, and I am going to work on releasing the B-52 shirt because I'm sorry, I think that's fucking hilarious. I've circulated it to a couple of people, and they're like, "Fuck, please, now."
Listen, B-52 is my favorite drug cocktail of choice at one of our services that we worked for. Like, it works so damn well. Honestly, give me a B-52 every night because I need some sleep. I need some sleep.
You get the D-52.
Stop it.
Anyway,
at least you're not 52 yet.
I've still got a little ways to go for that. Thank God. So yeah, I got 17 years. 17 years for that. Yeah, it's kind of creepy sounding. Anyway, carrying on.
That's fine. So the episode that we're talking about tonight.
So you want to be an EMT? Mm-hmm. I started a few TikTok videos, and I'm going to continue with that. But I figured this was good for a longer discussion because there's a lot to it. We can probably split this up in a couple episodes, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and there's so much stuff that has been brought to light. Running an EMT program, just kind of going through everything, and not even on the education side, but just meeting so many new EMTs and, I mean, honestly, new paramedics in the field. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we really sorry, as I hiccup inconveniently.
Babies.
This is the kind of stuff that, a lot of people have questions about, and we see a lot of TikToks and stuff, and like, don't get me wrong, TikToks are great, but we feel like that a longer discussion would be great, especially with some of our, sorry, let me bring this a little closer, especially with some of our newer listeners. Granted, Badass EMTs, like one of our earlier podcast episodes, that's also a really good one. So go check that out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there comes a point where you just have to recycle some stuff when you're talking about EMS. But like you said, you've been running EMT programs for the past 6 months now, and so we've fleshed out a lot more stuff. You were doing teaching a lot before, but you're actually the woman in charge. Yeah. You're the responsible adult.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah. So anyway, there's some stuff we wanted to refresh. We do have new listeners. We have kind of a newer demographic coming in. So kind of want to rehash some of this stuff. And you know what? Sometimes the seasoned people need some reminders about things too.
I honestly would strongly recommend that the seasoned people need to fucking listen.
So we have this broken up into 3 categories of advice. If you're someone who is wanting to come into EMS, but you don't really know what to expect, or you aren't really sure, how, if you want to make this a long-term career, then there's some stuff we need to talk about. And we're not really going to dig in a whole lot to the mental health stuff this episode. We will get to that. We'll kind of dip our toes in it a little bit, because obviously we hit on mental health quite a bit, but
often. And if we're being completely honest, you want a good broad range that's more than just us, you just need to come to the summit or follow the live stream. I mean, there's going to be so much that's talked about there. Plus, we're gonna be having our own. Each of us is talking there, not together. Like Daniel's talking on day 1, and I'm gonna be talking on day 2. So like we're gonna have all of the stuff.
It's gonna be a great time. Great time. So the first category of advice we have is classroom advice, which I'll let you harp on that. No. Maybe I need to start. I'll open it.
You go ahead and open it.
I'll start it. So first piece of advice. So you're looking at starting an EMT program, and you wonder what should I do to pass the class? Well, the easy, low-hanging fruit that you would think would be self-evident is study. Now we advocate so much, don't let EMS take over your life. Don't let it become your personality, except for when you're going through EMT school.
Well, I mean,
and paramedic school.
Yeah, I was going to say, school period. You need to eat, breathe, sleep.
Yeah.
Fall asleep listening to an audiobook of your textbook. Like, you need to be osmosising this bitch.
So, and why is that? Because you're literally getting hooked up to a fire hose and being told, don't spill. There's a lot of information. And I would actually recommend, within reason, a certain amount, more so for paramedic school, but even for an EMT, there's a little bit of self-studying you can do at the start, even if you just get your hands on the textbook or a textbook and start doing some studying, just a little bit.
No, that's fine. Actually, like during interviews and stuff, the most that I get this question often, and because we interview before coming into our program, and the biggest thing that I would advocate for when people are asking, what do I study leading in? You need to review basic anatomy and physiology.
Yes.
Because if you don't understand A&P/pathophysiology of how like all the blood and the organs and stuff circulate, then you're not going to understand fuck all. Like if you don't understand like your lung sounds, wet lungs is going to be crackles related to like CHF pneumonia type stuff versus like wheezing is, bronchospasm, bronchospasm. But like if you don't understand the pathophys, then there's really no amount of lecturing or anything else. And a lot of the anatomy and physiology is rote memorization. You literally just have to read it and understand it. And, I love all of the education, videos and creators and everything out there, but when it comes to straight A&P, there's no magical way to learn it. You just have to sit down and fucking learn it. You could you could throw a stone at any of the creators, and I mean A&P doesn't change. Pathophysiology doesn't change. So on that front, it really doesn't matter what creator you go with. If you need a YouTube video or whatever, but that is something that anybody can study that doesn't need to be discussed and explained. Everything else I would advocate, like sure you can see it online, but a lot of the other medicine needs to be discussed. When it comes to A&P, Just study. Just do it.
Well, and there's an old expression, and I first heard this more in the martial arts realm, but it applies to everything. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training.
Very much so.
And I apologize, my voice is a little gravelly. The weather change has been fucking with me. But you with the if you immerse yourself in that training, both before doing some of the AMP, but also during. If you have any downtime, you need to be cracking a book, making flashcards. I would honestly recommend that. And actually, EMS Avenger made a very interesting point. He actually said outright, do not go buy flashcards from somebody else.
No.
You need to make those cards yourself, whether you are doing it electronically or physically making flashcards by manually translating that information to create those flashcards. You're reinforcing the learning process in a very powerful way.
Everybody is like on social media talking about the paramedic flashcards and everything. And like, don't get me wrong, I have a set. They were gifted to me. And don't get me wrong, they're beautiful. They have some reference cards in there that are awesome. But the only thing I'll say about them is they're missing so many drugs. They have no antibiotics in there. And I really just don't think, even on the EMT level, it's not even about paramedic. My EMT students, there is a large portion of stuff that I do not give them because I want them to make their own flashcards, because it is literally the act of writing them out. When I was in paramedic school, I had to manually write out, like I couldn't put them, type them up and print them. They wanted them written. And I'm pretty sure that, plus the redundancy of using, medication dosages and scenarios and everything, is what committed it to memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to go forward with studying with intentionality. Now, the biggest pet peeve that I am continuing to hear, and you're going to hear all of the fucking pet peeves. I don't give a fuck if you've been through school before. I seriously don't. I don't care if you have been through a previous EMT program. Listen, if you've been through a previous EMT program and you're now coming through my EMT program, you obviously did not finish for whatever reason. It could be that you finished, but you couldn't pass the test and you failed it 6 times. You now have to retest. Whatever the case may be, I don't give a flying fuck what you think you know. There's plenty of times where when I am going through a lesson and new medicine has come up that I have to relearn something. Even as an instructor, I don't know everything. Even as an experienced provider, we do not know everything. So you as a student, do not come in and be like, well, I have 2 degrees and I almost went through PA school. Congratulations. If you are not actively a PA and you're in here arguing that a UTI is the inability to pee, we're going to have a motherfucking problem. Like, let's just put that out there. We're going to have a problem.
Well, this rolls into our second point, which is know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And this is where, even if you have experience in other aspects of healthcare, the way that EMS has to function, the way that we assess, the way we treat, the way that we logistically handle patient care is very different from any other sphere of healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you feel really confident about what you know, realize that you're in class for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You're in class because there's a whole fucking textbook of stuff that you're expected to know. And I highly doubt that everybody has an entire textbook memorized. Maybe you do. I mean, your memory's pretty damn good compared to mine. But anyway, I can ask her for a blood sugar from a call 2 weeks ago and she can pull that shit up. Like, it's hilarious.
Well,
yeah, anyway. So, know what you don't know. Don't let your head get too fucking big, because guess what? Just like she said, medicine changes. Mm-hmm. So even if you think you know something, there's a lot of things that used to be like gospel that aren't anymore.
Well, and I think one of my favorite, like, I guess you could say, transitions that I've seen is when you have, like, CNAs. For example, and I can say this because I used to be a CNA, when you have a CNA that think they know everything and they're like, oh, well, this facility isn't that bad and it's great. And, they're just overworked and this and that. And then they go through EMT. They're like, holy fuck, there's so much stuff that I didn't know. And then they start running calls at a nursing home and they're like, holy fuck, how did they not know anything? I was like, dude, do you not understand what we hear? This is why everybody talks so much shit, is because we don't we have a very tunnel vision view of what our scope of practice is. For example, how many times paramedics will talk shit about nursing staff, then you have the paramedic that goes and gets their nursing degree, they go work in the ER in emergency medicine, and they're like, holy fuck, that's
I
why
had
that
no
happened.
idea.
Well, same with, there's a service that we worked for that they literally forced, like it was mandatory that their doctors in residency had to come ride with the EMS service. And there were so many times that the residents were like, holy fuck, that was a train wreck. And you fixed it. But bring it into the hospital, it looked like a train wreck, even though it wasn't the train wreck that we originally had as a train wreck. And the hospital's giving you shit because it's a train wreck. And I'm like, yeah.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah. And, there's so many times where we don't understand each other. It's like, well, the jobs are so fucking different. So even if you're a nurse going through EMT school, like, bro, we have different jobs. We have a different understanding of what we're able to do, standing orders, like just all of the things. So even if you have experience in something, now, my favorite thing to tell students, sorry, I'm like eating a hair. I think it's a cat hair. My favorite thing to tell students when they're answering questions and they're just like, oh my God, I don't know. So like, they whisper the answer. And I'm like, I need you to say it with your chest. They're like, well, but I think I'm wrong. Say it confidently. Be confidently wrong, and we will talk about the right answer. Just don't get arrogant.
Well, and that comes to the third point, which is listen more than you speak. And I know it's cliched to say it, but it's true. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them proportionally.
I like that.
Seriously. Like, you if you're a student, if you're actively a student, you should not be opening your mouth because you're not the fucking teacher. Now, obviously that's hyperbolic because yes, we need classroom interaction. We need people to ask questions and to make mistakes confidently, and that's fine because that's what the classroom is for. The classroom is for you to make mistakes. But you need to be teachable when you make them. If you're making mistakes and you're like, but no, this is the right way, like, dude, you're literally in school for this. You're literally taking the class for this. You're going to be wrong. And it's fine. Now, the teachers can be wrong sometimes too, yes. But the posture, the default posture is what's important. If you're using this more than these, or even these, there's a problem.
Well, all the examples. Well, and like when
we love our jobs. We love our jobs.
We do love our jobs. But even when I was teaching at the previous institution, it's not like it's specific to one person or one cohort. It is just something that we consistently see that like you have, it's almost like a certain percentage of every single class, no matter where I have been. Even services that like teach EMT in-house and everything, like I hear the same story across all instructors. You always have the people that want to run their mouths. But something as well, like even once you get out of EMT school, you still have to be teachable. Because like Daniel's favorite thing to say, the patients don't read the textbook. And we're gonna treat the best that we can. But you also have to acknowledge that you don't know everything. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm very confident in my ability to assess the patient and treat what I see. But I'm also very confident in the fact that I sometimes decide that if this person has too many things going wrong, sometimes not doing something or not fixing something is actually better for the patient than fixing the wrong fucking thing. Call a friend, call a doctor, like do something. But if you get to a point where you get so tunnel vision that you actually end up hurting a patient, and then you still are going to blame shift or something else, then you're no longer teachable. And if it comes down to you just don't know how to be a provider, generally speaking, my question as an instructor and educator, et cetera, although I'm relatively, new at it, how am I supposed to fix somebody if it's not like one skill or one call type they have an issue with, but literally as a whole, they don't know how to take criticism or feedback, filter in whatever word. But like some of the stuff that kills me that we have heard from students at my previous job, my current job, I've heard it from other instructors as well, is when you're doing something with students and I've had one where they asked me to do like an oral board scenario, and oh my god, I love oral board scenarios. Daniel gave me one last week, and I was like, oh my god, it's like back in paramedic school. Listen, I run that board. Okay, I run that board.
All the students were just like,
Literally, I think I scared them ever so slightly because I flew through like a 15-minute scenario in like 8 minutes, and they were just like, "But what?" But anyways, it like they asked me to do an oral board scenario. I was like, "Absolutely," and they kind of jokingly popped off. I say jokingly. I hope they were joking, and it later turned it into, "Yeah, you're always grading us, so we don't know if you can even do it without the sheet." What?
Yeah.
What?
So, moral of the story: classrooms, study.
Yeah.
Know your shit. Know what you don't know, and listen more than you speak. Seriously, even after school, listen more than you speak. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on YouTube at Paramedic AF, or you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the Paramedic AF Show. You can catch up on the Daily Debrief, kind of a sub-show within the Paramedic AF Show, or you can watch our full-length episodes, including interviews and discussions on leadership, culture, personal wellness, mental health, everything related to daily life in EMS. Make sure you hit like and subscribe.